W4TV, W4WIF. W4WIF, standing by. W4WIF, the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Services Net will begin in 3 minutes. If anyone needs the frequency before our net begins, now's the time. You have 3 minutes. W4WIF, standing by for net. Good evening, everyone. This is W4WIF, and I'll be the net control operator for the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Services Net. The MCARES Net meets every Wednesday night at 2000 hours. That's 8 p.m. local time. The 145.27 repeater. Our backup repeater, should one be needed, is the 147.315. That has a PL tone of 141.3 with a positive 0.6 offset. The purpose of this net is to encourage interest in and to provide information about amateur radio emergency services in Monroe County and to provide members practice in the net control role. Monroe County ARES is under the direction of the ARRL, appointed emergency coordinator, and the Monroe County Emergency Management Agency. MCARES offers communication services to the public and to government agencies as requested. Amateurs are welcome to our net, and you do not have to be a member of ARES to participate in the net. It is a direct-to-net, so please address all communications to net control. As always, emergency or priority traffic will take precedent and will be handled immediately. Should an emergency rise during the net, please call break. Should net control not hear the break, any station can indicate to the net control that there is an emergency break requested. CSW4 WIF, are there any stations with priority traffic for the net at this time? Please call.
Break. All stations, please stand by. Kilo Echo 0, Golf Bravo Romeo. This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo Uniform. Over. KE0GBR. This is KK6 OKU. Over. Final call for Kilo Echo 0, Golf Bravo Romeo. This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo Uniform. Nothing heard. All stations, please be advised that Mick Hugh Emery, KE0GBR, has been transferred with honor from active member to the group Silent Key roster. Mick lost his fight with cancer on February 2nd, 2024. Born November 23rd, 71, Mick touched a lot of lives in amateur radio and beyond. He attended functions in and around Monroe County via MCARES, Monroe Amateur Radio Club, and the Lunch Bunch Net. He pushed for Hams Helping Hands and was able to make anyone laugh, and was an outstanding vice president last year of the Monroe Amateur Radio Club. Mick, he wouldn't take no for an answer. Well, more like he was really good at reinforcing your confidence to say yes, thus enabling many training sessions for the Monroe Amateur Radio Club as a VP. He was also the driving force behind me to be committee chair of the first Park Palooza and Picnic. That was a joint effort between his club and his Aries group. That was to enable folks to learn POTA, Parks on the Air, and of course, us being Hams, being that our middle name, we enjoy we enjoyed food and had a great barbecue and potluck also during that event. It was a lot of fun. Wait. We lost a good friend and a dedicated source of tech knowledge and inspiration. He will be forever missed. Please keep Mick's family in your hearts and prayers as they navigate this difficult time. We ask all stations to take a short standby and quiet reflection of our fellow amateur and friend, Mick. KE0, Great Big Radio. Thank you all. KE0GBR, your station is eternally secured. Godspeed, Mick. 7-3, my friend. You will be missed. At this time, I'd like to invite net attendees to share any memory or comments about Mick. Also, if you do have a photo of Mick, please don't hesitate to share them with us by sending them with a description to AEC Alpha Echo Charlie at MCARES.net. And with that in mind, those wishing to make comment or share a memory, please come now with your call sign. Give it to me twice, once phonetically and your name. I'll build a list, and then we will rotate back to the top for comments. This is KK6 OKU.
Technical.
have you on the roster. Next comment, please come with your call.
Kilo Oscar 4, Victor Foxtrot Juliet. Kilo Oscar 4, Victor Foxtrot Juliet. This is Jesse.
Good evening, and thank you so much for being here. KE0GBR VFJ. We have you on the roster, and we will get right back to you as we rotate through. Next operator wishing to comment and share a memory, please come now with your call.
Kilo Charlie 8, Lima Uniform Bravo, Jeremy, no affiliation.
Good evening there, Jeremy. Can you give me your full call again, please?
Roger that, Mike. It's Kilo Charlie 8, Lima Uniform Bravo, KC8 LUB.
I didn't get the Bravo. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Next comment and or operator wishing to share a memory, please come now with your call.
K4 MJF, Kilo 4, Mike Juliet Fox.
K4 MJF, we have you on the roster. Thank you, sir. Next call, please come now.
Kilo 4, Papa Victor Alpha, Kenny.
Good evening, Kenny. We have you on the roster. K4 PVA. Next operator wishing to make comment and or share a memory of Mick, please come now with your call.
Kilo Fox 4, Alpha Hotel Whiskey, KF4 AHW, Tom.
Good evening, Tom. We really appreciate you taking the time to share this last call with us. Next check-in, please call now.
November 1, Lima Sierra Tango, Scott.
November 1, Lima Sierra Tango. Good evening, Scott. Thank you for being out there. We do appreciate it. And I know Mick's looking down, and he's really liking what's going on right now. And we do appreciate everybody taking the time to go ahead and say a few words. Next check-in, please come now with your call.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Delta, Kilo Whiskey, KF4 DKW, David.
Good evening, David. Thank you for being out there and getting on the roster to go ahead and say a word or two with and about Mick. Next operator wishing to share a memory or a comment about Mick, please come now with your call, sign twice, once phonetically and name.
KQ4 HOM, Kilo Quebec 4, Hotel Oscar Mike.
Good evening, Mike. We have you on the roster. Next call, please come now.
Kilo Quebec 4, Bravo, Juliet Uniform, KQ4 BJU, Lee.
Oh, good evening, Lee. There was a pretty good train wreck, and you were captured. That doubling station, please come now with your call.
KN4, VIF, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Got you on the roster to make comment and or share a memory with and about Mick. Next check-in for shared memory and or comment concerning Mick, please come now with your call sign twice, once phonetically and name.
Kilo India 4, Foxtrot Zulu Tango.
Good evening, Bill. Thank you for being out there. We are currently taking call signs to go ahead and rotate back through the roster to share a comment and or memory about Mick. We sure appreciate y'all being out there. Next call sign, please come now.
Kilo India 4, Papa Romeo Mike, KI4 PRM, Barry.
RD, named Bill, Jefferson County.
Good evening, Barry. The repeater did capture you. Bill, you had a double with Barry. Can you please give me your call sign again, please?
Yes,
Yes, sir. It's Whiskey 8, Bravo, Romeo, Delta, W8BRD. Bill, over here in Jefferson County. Sorry about the double.
No worries there, Bill. We appreciate your patience with this controller. We are taking check-ins and for comment and/or a shared memory of Mick during this last call ceremony. This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo uniform for station ID. Next operator wishing to share a memory or comment, please come now as you call.
Control, this is Kilo Foxtrot 4, Bravo Delta Foxtrot, KF4BDF, Don in Harriman, member Roane County Aries, over.
Good evening, Don. Thank you for being out there, and we appreciate you getting on the roster to make a comment and or share a memory about Mick. I know he's much appreciative of what's going on here now, and we appreciate y'all going ahead and attending and being out there. Next check-in, I would like to make comment or share a memory. Please come now as you call.
Net Control, please check in. Kilo, November 4, Oscar, Juliet, Victor, KN4OJB. Anderson County, no affiliations.
Alright, KN4OJB. Can I get your first name, please?
Jason, over.
Jason, thank you so much. We have you on the roster to go ahead and make comment and or share a memory of Mick. And with that, we're taking call signs. Please come now with your call sign twice, once phonetically and name to get on this roster to make a comment and or share a memory of Mick.
Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Mike Quebec, KO4 PMQ, Carl in Maryville.
Good evening, Carl. Thank you so much for attending. We do appreciate you being out there. Next call sign for comment and or a shared memory, please come now with your call. Looking for operator call signs that would like to share a memory and or make comment about Mick, our good friend and operator. We're taking call signs now. Please come now as you call twice, once phonetically and your name if you'd like to make a comment or share a memory.
Net Control, please copy Kilo Oscar 4, Juliet Lima Kilo, KO4JLK. The name is Freddie of Knox County, Aries, and meters affiliated. I will have to secure my station. Just wanted to be present. Thank you.
Freddie, thank you for checking in and attending this last call ceremony. We do appreciate it. Permission to secure your convenience, sir. Next operator, please come now with your call that would like to make a comment and or share a memory of Mick.
Net Control, Whiskey 4, Sierra Uniform, W4 PSU, Sean.
Good evening, Sean. Thank you for keying up and getting on the roster to make comments and or share a memory. This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo, uniform of the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Net, and we are in last call mode for Mick Emery, and looking for call signs that would like to share a memory and or a comment about Mick. Please come now with your call sign twice, once phonetically and name.
Kilo, Quebec, 4, Kilo, Uniform, Sierra, Jeanette, KQ4, KUS.
Good evening, Jeanette. We appreciate you getting on the roster to make comment and or share a memory about Mick. Next operator, please come now with your call that would like to make a comment and or share a memory. All right, well, I'll tell you what. This is Kilo 6 Oscar Kilo uniform. My name is Mike. And I do appreciate all the visitors that are here this evening on Mick's behalf, and I know Mick would appreciate it. With that in mind, we got a pretty good roster going on to share a memory and or make a comment in reference to Mick. And we're going to go to the top of the roster with N4POD. N4POD, KK60KU at the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Service. Go ahead, sir.
Roger that, N4POD here. There's a few times in my life when I've struggled to find words to say, and this is one of them. All too often, those times are when losing a close friend or a family member. Fortunately, this is not an exception. Mick, KE0GBR, Great Big Radio. He was one of the nicest, kindest, most honorable, and all-around good guys that I've ever met. Despite whatever hurdles threw at him in life, regardless of the discomfort or pain he was enduring, he always wanted to listen. He wanted to listen to how others were feeling and comfort them. He wanted to enjoy the good times, commiserate with bad ones. He wanted to celebrate our triumphs, our soul, and our failures. Lord knows we've all had some. Stop here for a second. Yeah, he enjoyed life, living, and talking to others, whether on the radio or in person. He had gotten a new watch, and smartwatch, and he was showing it off at one of the meetings, all the stuff he could do. And could have been so nice to an Eskimo person. He wound up convincing me to get one. I told my wife I wanted one. She got me one. And then, we drop it here. He called me up one day and he said, "Hey, I got a screen protector for my watch. I got two. You want one?" And he was always doing stuff like that. He did the same thing with a little inline power meter. He's like, "Hey, man, I ordered this and I got two. Here, you can have this one." So he was like that all the time. He'd get the shirt off his back. I know he was so excited when he got that Yaesu A91, I think it was, that said, like, double check, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And he got me excited for him too, so. One more thing to say here. He might not have had the greatest, biggest, or best radio out there, but he was by far the kindest, gentlest, most selfless, giving person I ever had the pleasure of knowing. And he was an example of exactly what a good man should be. Just want to say, somebody trees, my friend, Godspeed, KE0GBR, and KE 7-3 present.
This is Kilo 6 Oscar Kilo uniform. Thanks, Jeff. While Jeff just finished up, I would like to take a moment, excuse me, to invite everybody to the MCARES.net website. There's a page that is dedicated to Mick, and as I said, if you do have a photo of Mick we'd like to share, we'd love to have it put on the website, and that can be sent to aec@mcares.net. Jeff is our webmaster. That is his email address for Monroe County areas. All right, moving on down the line. Appreciate that again, Jeff. KL4 VFJ, KK60KU.
Kilo Oscar 4, Victor Foxtrot Juliet. This is Jesse in Hardin Valley. This is going to be hard. I love Mick. Mick was the first one to take an interest to me as somebody that really didn't know what we were doing. I was doing getting on the radio. I still don't, but I think he put more than one net on hold to ask me, hey, what do you need? What do you need? Let me walk you through it. Let me help you get what you need. And Mick would talk, and I would listen, and I'd write it down, and so I ended up buying that Anytone radio just like he had, and Mick programmed it for me. He would strongly encourage me to be at the Sevierville Hamfest to meet all the awesome folks like Roger and Jeremy and Perry and all the folks that I didn't know, but I had heard on the radio. When Mick told me he was studying for his general license, I said, well, buddy, let me tell you something. I'm going to challenge you to get your general, and I'm going to get it before you. And so that began Mick's journey to his general license. And we showed up at the same day. He wasn't going to let it take the test before me, or neither one of us was going to let us beat each other, but hold on, let me let it drop. So we showed up same day and took our test. Both of us passed. I paid for his general test before he could get to the guy to pay for it, but Mick was just like the first guy said. Mick was a guy that would stop whatever was happening to help new hams and new people learning this, and I knew this would be hard, but man, great big radio. I got all your texts. I got all your messages. I'll keep them forever. I'll miss you, buddy. Last thing I'll say is, like, last Monday or last weekend, we were talking about getting my first radio and how to get on HF, and I sure miss my Elmer. Mick was a good dude that helped everybody that crossed his path, no matter what. And with that, I'll give it back to Net Control.
This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo Uniform. We are in the middle of last call for Mick, KE0GBR. Jesse, thank you so much for those shared memories and comments. We sure do appreciate you being out there, my friend. Just a quick reminder to all that have already got on the roster to make comment and or share a memory. You do not have to check back into the net. You were on the master roster. So with that in mind, we're heading on down the roster for comments and memories. Next up, Jeremy, KC8LUB, KK6OKU with the MCARES Weekly Net.
Good afternoon, Mike. Good evening, Mike, I'm sorry. Mick, he was a great friend to everybody he met, as far as I know. He always walked around the Hamfest with me. We always had a lot of discussion. He was close to my age, so that was a lot of, the draw. And he introduced me to, thanks to you all and him, the Podapalooza thing you all did up there. I've become addicted to that since then, and had a lot of fun with that. So if not for him and you all, that probably would have never happened for me. And I did take Mick back in September. I took him to there's a park out close to his house, and we activated out there. We had like 39 contacts, and he was extremely happy. He was having a good time that day. I don't think it was a real great day for him because he had to go back home after that, but he had a lot of fun during that activation. I still remember seeing his face when he started making the Canadian contacts and such, from being in the park. That was just a lot of fun, and he will be missed by all he come in contact with. And we went out and helped him when he got his general. I went out and helped him put his antenna up at his house, his HF antenna, so he could make some contacts as well. So he will be missed. He was a good friend to me. He was a good friend to a lot, and he was always willing to help anybody any way he could, by any means necessary. He will be missed, and he is going to be cherished. And I do have a lot of texts and such that will never be deleted on my account either. I'm going to throw it back to you, Mike. 7-3, Godspeed, Mick. 7-3, KE0GBR.
Jeremy, thank you so much for being out there for Mick, and thank you so much for sharing the comments and memories. Oh, we sure do appreciate that. Let's see, further on down, continuing down the roster, let's turn it over to Mike, K4MJF, KK60KU. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mike. K4MJF. Good evening, everyone. And Mick, there's all I'm going to say is this about that. We sure are going to miss you, pal. Miss talking to you. And always, every time I saw you, you were always had a smile on your face, whether you felt good or whether you felt bad. And you always had a uplifting word to say. I know that, my friend, that you definitely loved Hamfest, especially the Sevierville Hamfest, and loved doing the lunch bunch, net on the 370, and always enjoyed checking in with you and everyone else over there on that. I definitely miss that, but I do want, like I said, like everyone else has said, Mick is always smiling, and he always wanted to help everyone, whether they were on the air or in person. He had a good word to share with them, and wanted to share what knowledge that he had. If he didn't know, he would definitely help you out. But the memory that gives me the biggest smile, though, is back over the winter, over at Countryside Restaurant over in Vonore. We used to all standing around out in the parking lot waiting on KK60KU to come and join the rest of us. And Mick had a laser pointer in his pocket, and he pulled it out. Got the sly grin on his face. He says, "Look what I got." He said, "It's a high-powered laser." And he took the laser. He said, "You can actually burn paper with it." And he pointed it down to his shoe and turned the laser on, and the sole of his shoe started smoking with that drop. The sole of his shoe started smoking. He stood there and just grinned. He says, like that. So I never will forget that. He was quite pleased with himself. Mick, we're going to miss you. We'll always remember you, my friend. God bless you, sir. K4MJF, back to that.
That was a good one, Mike. Thank you so much. Don't be surprised. Mick's still making us laugh, even if he's late. Oh, goodness. All righty. Heading on down the roster. Kenny, Kilo 4, Papa Victor Alpha. Good evening.
84 PVA. Yeah, I never did get to meet Mick, but I've talked to him quite a bit. When I was redoing my station over here, how to get on the air and need some help, set the modulation and set this and that. And old Mick would come to the rescue. He'd be in there somewhere listening. He'd wait a while, nobody else come to me. He'd come in there and start helping me. Like I said, I never met him, but I talked to him quite a bit. And I know he'd be missed by all his friends. KD4PVA.
Kenny, thank you so much. We sure appreciate you being out there, and I know Mick does too. This is Kilo 6 Oscar Kilo uniform. We are currently conducting last call with comment and memory section for KE0 Great Big Radio. Next up, Tom, KF4HW. Good evening.
Good evening, gang. I didn't know him as long as you guys did, but he was always picking on me or telling a joke, or, he'd make you grin. And I went with Jeremy. That was my second POTA activation. And I went with Jeremy and Mick that day, and boy, we had a good time. So, good luck wherever you are, Mick. I'm going to get out of here. KF4AHW.
73 there, Tom. Thank you so much for being out there. Good evening, Scott, M1LST. You're up.
Well, good evening. This is N1LST, and of course, most of you know Mick was my sidekick on the Friday edition of Lunch Bunch Net. And, you know, we were the bad boys of the airwaves for the Lunch Bunch. But anyway, it was always a good time with Mick. You know, we'd carry on and cut up. I always sit there and tease him about having his hand in the cookie jar. But, as Mick's illness sort of progressed, he sort of faded out a little bit, but he always kept in touch. And I'll tell you what, he always had something to say, you know, put a smile on your face. And of course, he always would, you know, have me tell my wife hello and to pat Vivian on the head. So, but we always had a good time, and I met, you know, we met at the Ham Fest, and the day he asked me to sell him that 891, you know, so he could get into HF, you know, I was glad we did it. You know, we got it all together, and I'm glad it worked out for him. But anyhow, he's definitely going to be missed. He's definitely going to be missed on the Lunch Bunch. I know you guys are going to miss him as well. So, Mick, Godspeed, and, brother, keep the light shining. Anyhow, back to you guys, N1LST.
Scott, thank you so much. We sure appreciate you being out there. And I'm telling you, this, all the comments are heartfelt and warming, and I really do appreciate y'all. We're heading down the roster now for comments and shared memories of Mick. Let's talk to David, KF4DKW, KK60KU.
Yeah, I echo what Jeff said in for POD. He'd give you the shirt off his back. He never heard him complain once. He was a real fighter all the way up to the end. KF4DKW.
Thank you, David. We appreciate you being out there. And I know Mick's looking down and listening. He got that direct connection now. All right, let's turn it over to Mike, KQ4HOM. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. This is KQ4HOM. You know, as we studied to become hams, everything it states is your activities promote amateur radio, and there's no one I can think of that done that better than Mick. Mick was one of the first people in the group that came up and introduced himself when we had our fall picnic with the Monroe Amateur Radio Club this fall, and he invited, encouraged, and made me feel like I was part of a group. So, you know, I'll never forget that he came up personally. He found me. He went through the crowd. He struggled a bit doing that, and I knew it was hard on him. But he did it. He came and encouraged me on, became a member of the group, and, you know, I wish I would have gotten to spend more time around Mick. And he's influenced a lot of lives. 73 Mick, you will be missed. KQ4HOM.
Thank you, Mike. You know, actually, Mick actually was one of the first to join MCARES when it was reactivated a couple years ago. Yeah, great big radio, great big heart. You will be missed. Let's move on down the roster. Let's talk to Lee. Lee, comments, shared memory of Mick, KQ4BJU. This is KK6OKU.
Good evening, Mike, and everybody on the net. I didn't know Mick very well. I didn't know him that long, but as everyone else said, he was so welcoming, and he would do anything to help you, and he will be missed. He did a lot of things for the Monroe Amateur Radio Club. He stepped up to be vice president when nobody else really wanted it. He did a fine job working with with the club and organizing training sessions and things. And it's about all I can say. He will be missed. Godspeed, Mick in 73. Back to net control.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate you being out there. This is Kilo 6 Oscar Kilo uniform with the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Net. Currently conducting last call, comments, and shared memories. Next on the list, Ben, KN4 VIF. Good evening.
Thanks, Mike. This is KN4 VIF. I never had the pleasure of meeting Mick personally. I regret that. You can listen to all the comments and all these words that are being shared tonight, and that's the measure of the man, what his friends and family actually thought of him, and that's a tremendous tribute. And so I will consider it a great loss that I didn't have that same opportunity myself. Anyhow, that's about all I've got, Mike. God bless you, Mick, and his family. This is KN4 VIF. Back to net.
Ben, that was very well stated. The measure of the man, something not to forget, and so very true. All right, heading on down the list. Let's talk to Bill, get comments and share memories of Mick, KF4FZT, KK60KU.
Good evening. This is KI4FZT. First off, I must say that I am honored and privileged that y'all would include me in a group and allow me to take part in this kind of activity. It's an honor to do that. Mick shared himself in a lot of ways, one of which that became very important to me was the fact that he's one of the ones that would very frequently come and visit us on our Roane County Aries net. Nick always had good questions, good comments, and as some have alluded to tonight, a good humor. I remember one time when we were having a lighter moment on the net, I posed a question that not many radio amateurs ever ask. Wait. And that's the eternal question about when you're talking to somebody and you establish that you have good contact with them, you hear them well, they hear you well, and all that stuff. And you say, it's good to hear you or to have you, is it in there or is it in here? Because you hear it both ways. It's great to have you in here, or it's great to hear you in there. I asked that question of Mick, and Mick just thought about it in a second and said, I think both. So I thought that was a pretty wise answer, and that's kind of what one expected out of Mick. His participation and his enthusiasm and his sharing are noted by anybody that had anything to do with him, whether it was in person or over the airwaves. Wait. Other people with far more important comments than mine are waiting in line, so I will end my comments with this, and my wishes and prayers for Nick and his family. Rest eternal grant him, O Lord, and let light perpetual shine upon him. May his soul, through the mercies of God, rest in peace, and may his memory be eternal. KI4FZT, out.
Amen, Bill. Thank you. And I'll tell you what, one thing we were was important to Mick, one and all. You couldn't have been more right there, Bill. Appreciate you being out there. Barry, KI4, PRM, KK60KU.
Well, good evening, Mike, and everyone that's on this net.
kind of you to do this and let us all share these stories and such. My experience with Mick was really good. I met him over the radio, obviously, to begin with. My first impression of him was, what's this guy thinking? And by little, I talked to him a little more on the radio from time to time, and became radio friends, and then got together with him at a ham fest, and then another ham fest, and got to know him a lot better. And I always appreciated the fact that he would, point out each individual person on the radio and say hello to them from time to time. And sometimes he'd even break in with a comment to say hello to me, and I really appreciated that. I'm not sure he ever understood how much I appreciated his friendship, but maybe he did. But I always enjoyed being able to hear him on the Lunch Bunch and other times, Simplex and such. But he'll be missed, and I personally will miss him a lot. But he was a wonderful guy, and he was very kind to do whatever he could for anybody. And I hope he's got the band up there for us to all be part of, and he can still hear us, if you know what I mean. So, Mick, we miss you. We know you're in a better place. Godspeed. God bless you and your family, and comfort us all, Lord. That's it, Mike. Thank you for letting me be part of this.
Barry, that was heartfelt all the way through the airwave. Thank you so much for making comment and sharing memories. Speaking of family, Jennifer, Mick's friend, KQ4NJT, has set up Mick's rig at the house, so the family is monitoring the frequency, and we'd like to welcome them. And I believe y'all know how important Mick was to us, and we keep you in our thoughts and prayers. This is Kilo 6 Oscar Kilo uniform. My name is Mike Indigo Kilo Echo, and this is last call on the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Net for KE0GBR. That would be Mick, Great Big Radio. Going down the roster for shared memories and comments about Mick. Next up, W8BRD. Bill, good evening.
Whiskey 8 Bravo Romeo Delta. Appreciate you for letting me get in here tonight. Excuse me. I met Mick a couple of times at once at the Ham Fest and a couple of the get-together events they had. He was always a joyful guy to talk to and always had some good info. And like everybody else says, he was always there to help out and whenever he could. I didn't get the pleasure of really knowing him that well. Talked to him quite a bit on the Lunch Bunch and stuff like that, but and some other nets, but it was good to know. He will be well missed. I pray for his family, and Godspeed. W8BRD.
Bill, thank you so much. We do appreciate you being out there and making comment. Let's head on down the roster here with Don, Kilo Foxtrot 4 Bravo Delta Foxtrot. Good evening.
Thanks, Mike. This is KF4BDF, and I'd just like to say I did not have the pleasure of meeting Mick, but I did talk to him on the radio, and that was always a pleasant experience. And as you all know, as we age, we too often wind up in a situation like this where we're raising a glass to absent friends. And I'm always happy, and well, I guess honored is a better way to put it, to be part of these ceremonies, because at some point, I guess somebody will be doing one of these for all of us. So I just want to wish to Mick's family and peace to his radio family, and my sincerest condolences to all of you, Mike, and his family. So this is KF4BDF.
Thank you, Don. Sure appreciate you being out there. Appreciate everybody being out there. This is pretty heartfelt and pretty warming, and I am touched. And I know Mick is looking down, and he's got direct connect to the airwaves, and he's enjoying every bit of this. Let's go to Jason, Kilo November 4, Oscar, Juliet, Victor, KK60KU.
Greetings, Mike, everyone on frequency, KK60KU, KM40JB. I'd like to begin by thanking Jeff, M4POD, for inviting me over today. I didn't even know Mick was the vice president of MCARES, or Memorial County. I believe I heard that right. I learned that tonight. I'd like to just open with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. I offer my sincere condolences to the family of Mick. Mick and Maribel, Great Big Radio, as well as his friends. Break. Yeah, big up to Mick. He used to shout me out in different nets. I could check into 3 nets in a day, and chances were I would hear Mick in all 3 of them. He was very active on the radio, and we even tried to do some simplex stuff, but we had varying degrees of success. Some things about Mick you may not know. He was the Nano VNA boss. If it came to Nano VNA, he could do it. In fact, I had an appointment to get with Mick at one of the meet and greets, and he was going to set mine up and show me how to use that thing. So, Mick, I'll take a rain check on that, buddy. Many of you may not have known, but there was actually a campaign for Mick for president. Wait. And while campaigning for president, I heard he even checked into a ladies' net a time or two there. But anyway, Mick always had a bunch of jokes and always knew how to make me laugh and put a smile on my face. And I always tried to give Mick his flowers there. When I heard him on the air, I always tried to big him up. So, big up, Mick. KK60KU, KM40JB, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Back to net control.
Jason, thank you so much for the prayer. We do appreciate that. And, yeah, just leave it to Mick. He was always making folks laugh. Checking in the all-ladies net. That's pretty cool. God bless him. Alrighty. Heading down the roster for comments and shared memories on our late friend and amateur, Mick, KE0GBR. Let's go to Carl, Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Mike, Quebec. This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo Uniform. Good evening.
KO4PMQ, yeah, good evening, Mike, and everybody out there. Deepest sympathies to Mick's family and everything. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting Mick either in person, but like everybody, hearing him on the Lunch Bunch net and everything else, his personality and his voice will definitely be missed on the radio break. And just a quick story, about Mick is that I found out we don't live but 2 miles from each other when they were doing a simplex net one night, and I could hear him coming in here like gangbusters. So I was like, I got to look this call up and see where this guy's at. And come to find out, he's just 2 miles down the road. But I never took the time to go down there and meet him, which is on me. But he will be greatly missed, and I just hope that when my time comes, people have half the things that they can say about me as they have so far about him. And the thing about ham radio is, it is this, things like this really show you what a family it really is, and what a great thing it is to be a part of, and something so much bigger than ourselves. And Mick, you are missed, and we'll see you on the other side, brother. KO4PMQ, back to net.
Amen and amen, Carl. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Let's see. Freddie was in and out. He's secured. Let's go to Sean, Whiskey 4, Papa Sierra uniform, KK60KU.
Hey, Mike in the net, Whiskey 4, Papa Sierra uniform. Unfortunately, I was one of the people who didn't get to know Mick very well, just in the Mark meetings and the net, and hearing that great big radio every time he was on the net. Probably the biggest thing for me is going to be, a lot of people talk about missing him and missing his voice. I think the big thing for me is missing out, not getting to know him except in the meetings, but hearing all of the things that everybody has to say about his grace and how he gave back to others in the net. I hope all of us have the opportunity to give back like that. It says a lot about his personality. Whiskey 4, Pop Sierra.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you being out there. This is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo uniform, with the last call edition for KE0GBR and the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Net. Last but surely not least, Jeanette, good evening, KQ4KUS, KK60KU.
KQ4KUS. I didn't know him personally, but yeah, when Mick gave Jeff that screen protector, that was really nice. And we're all a family. And he will be missed. I wish I would have not been so on Mike's side. And I probably could have had him as a contact. Anyway, back to next.
Thank you, Jeanette, so much for keying up and giving us some words. We're at the end of the roster, and I want to thank one and all for participating. And with that, this is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo uniform. We're going to return the net back to net control. Good evening, Sharon, and thank you for calling the net.
This is W4WIF net control for the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Services. That's a mouthful. I'm going to add my 2 cents to the tributes to Mick. I met him when he first attended Mark, and kind of on first glance, quiet, unassuming guy sitting over in the corner, but he just jumped right in and took an active part in the club, joined the club, later became our vice president for 2023, and he took part in every meeting that he was at. He was a great source of information, had a great sense of humor. It was always fun being around Mick. He was, I thought he was unassuming, in that he never shone a light on himself. He was always shining the light on whoever he was talking to, whoever he was with, whoever he was helping. They were the focus of it. He made a big impact on everybody that came in contact with in our hobby. Mick, you'll be missed. You'll make a big hole. You're leaving a big hole in this hobby. This is W4WIF. Okay, this time we'll secure the tributes to Mick. We appreciate everybody being there and taking a part. If there's any check-ins for the Monroe County Aries net, go ahead and check in now.
KF4AHW, no affiliation, Tom and Seymour.
Okay, Tom, appreciate you. Everybody that checked into the final call, we've already got you on the roster. Appreciate you all being here, and thanks, Tom, for making sure we got you in here. Any other check-ins that have not checked in already, please call now.
Whiskey 4 Alpha Charlie Romeo, W4ACR Randy Massville.
Hey, Randy, we've got you checked in. Appreciate that. Next check-in, please.
Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu Hotel Quebec, KO4 ZHQ Larry, North Cleveland.
Okay, Larry, out there in North Cleveland, thank you for checking in tonight. Appreciate it. All right, the next check-in, please call.
KO4 LMK, Ken and Seymour.
Hi, Ken, K04LNK. We've got you on the roster. Next check-in, please call.
Net control. Kilo 4 Delta Quebec Lima, K4 DQL Billy, Knox County.
Right up there in Knox County, K4 DKL. Got you, Billy. Appreciate it. Next check-in, please call. All right, well, thanks everybody for checking in tonight. Do we have any liaison stations that have a comment or announcements for the net? Okay, hearing none. Well, thank you for everybody for checking in to this very special net. If does anybody have any announcements for the net for your organization or otherwise, please call now with your announcements.
N4 POD, November 4, Pop Oscar Delta.
To that N4 POD, go ahead, Jeff.
Somebody double with you.
Okay, doubling station. If you doubled with Jeff, please go ahead.
Insurance, Mike, KK6OKU. I got a few announcements also. Thank you.
Roger that. Okay, we'll go back to Jeff, and then we'll pick Mike up. N4 POD. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that checked in. Make this take a thing the turnout. I think they can say that. And I'll send out a list on the Freaks.io with the link for the supporting the MCARES.net. And as Mike said before, if anybody has any pictures, send them to me. AEC at MCARES.net works. That comes right to me and goes to Mike and other Mike. Goes to all of them. I appreciate it. And for POD Texas.
That, Jeff, and thanks for the recording the whole thing. His family's going to really appreciate that. And thanks to Jennifer, who's with the family tonight, KQ4NJT. Jennifer, thanks very much, and our best to the family. All right, Mike, with your announcements, KK6OKU.
Thanks, Sharon. There was a double with you that wanted to make comment.
That station with your comment, please call now.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. KF4AHW. I was trying to write down where I send the pictures to.
Okay, send them to AEC at MCARES.net. AEC at MCARES.net.
Certainly will. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right. Mike, sorry about that. We'll come back to you. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I appreciate it. And thanks to John for logging this evening. Thank you for all the guests and visitors that checked in this evening. I know Mick's smiling up there, and real pleased. About had a record-breaking check-in net. Leave it to Mick to be late and break records. See how he is? Alrighty. With that, let's just get a little business done here. February 10th will be the MCARES meeting at the Telecafe in Tellico Plains at 11:30. MCARES was deployed and called out by the EMA last Saturday to help with the funeral parking logistical nightmare. And everything went smooth. We worked so well with our EMA, and they worked so well with us. I'd like to throw out a special thank you to John, KB4TV, Mike, KQ4HOM, Lee, KQ4BJU, and Randy, W4ACR, for stepping up and being an operator for that event. We sure do appreciate it. And I know the EMA and the family really did also. We ended up parking about 60 pieces of fire equipment, ambulances, Code 3 vehicles, and about 20 personally operated vehicles. Wait. I mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again. Check out the MCARES.net website. There is a page dedicated to Mick, and we are asking for photos to be sent to Alpha Echo Charlie AEC at MCARES.net. Jeff, one of our AECs, is our webmaster also, and he's done a fine job so far, but we'd love to just pile the photos on that page in Mick's honor, and we do appreciate everybody contributing comment and memories this evening. With that, this is Kilo 6, Oscar Kilo uniform, and I'll go ahead and turn it back to net control. Thank you very much, Sharon.
No problem. Thanks, Mike. Okay, any additional check-ins for the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Services net? Please call now.
In for IJL.
Okay, come back with that call one more time.
No problem. This is Jerry, N4, IJL, November 4, India Juliet Lima.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Appreciate you being in here tonight. And I'll come back to these check-ins to see if anyone else has any additional comments or announcements. So just hang tight with us. Anybody else for the net, please call now.
Net control. Net control, this is Kilo Bravo 4 Tango Victor KB4 TV, your friendly logger this evening. Good evening, Sharon.
Good evening, John, and I'll get with you in just a little bit on our count. I think I've got one more than you do, including me and you, so we'll figure out who's missing. All right, anybody else checking in, please call now.
Net Control, please check in Kilo 4, Lima, Zulu, Foxtrot, Perry, and Oak Ridge.
Okay, Perry, got you, KK4 LZF. All right, appreciate you checking in tonight. All right, next check-in, please call. Well, let's just go up to this bunch and see if there's any other comments or for the net. Randy, W4ACR. Good evening, Randy. Right, we'll just go on down the rows. K04ZHQ. Larry, and I believe this is the first time I've heard you check into the net. Welcome. A bunch of in and outs. So out there in Seymour, we've got Ken, K04 LMQ. Ken, do you have anything for the net tonight?
K04 LMK. No comments. Yeah, Mick will be missed. I'm sorry, I do have a comment. He will be missed. We enjoyed having him at the Hamfest in Sevierville, and just an all-around great guy. And I'll turn it back over to you. K04 LMK.
Okay, sorry, Ken. I actually had your call written down correctly, and our loggers had it, I think, correctly, and I just missed it. All right, appreciate it. All right, Billy, K4 DKL. Any comments for the net? Okay, Jerry in for IJL. Any comments for the net tonight?
4DQL.
And I doubled. Billy, K4 DQL. Sorry about that.
Thank you, ma'am. I have no comment. Just y'all done well. Tonight's about Mick. Thank you. K4 DQL.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Billy. All right. Like I say, let's go back to Jerry. Jerry's an old friend of me and Steve, so I'll take a moment to say hello. Hello on a personal note. So, Jerry, N4IJL. Good evening, Jerry.
Hey, good evening, Sharon. And I certainly hope you and Steve are doing well. And how is Steve? I'll ask you that right up front. I haven't talked to him in quite some time.
He's got an issue with chronic headaches, so he's not on the radio very much, but he's been having some really good days, and he got on and worked a bunch of HF for the last couple of nights, so that's been fun. So I'll tell him you ask about him, and we need to get together with you guys.
Sure thing. Well, be sure and tell him I was asking about him. Well, I got in late on the thing here, with all the memories and references to Mick. And I'll add mine to the list. I've known Mick for quite some time, at least during the Lunch Bunch net. He was one of the very first in the group that checked in with us on Lunch Bunch, and as well on our Simplex nets. He was always right there with us. And one of the things I remember about Mick, although I didn't know him personally, I had met him a couple of times at Hamfest. And knew him in that way, but I did enjoy his, I guess you might say, wit, his subtle wit, and he would always tell jokes on the air when we were talking that went over my head. His jokes were always a little bit over my head, and we joked about that, and and it got to be an ongoing fun thing that people would have to explain to me his jokes, his humor. So I'll certainly miss him. You know, a great big radio. How could you ever forget the call? And according to those that knew him personally, he was a very humble, very kind person. And I really wish I'd have got to know him more on a personal level, he and his family. So with that, I'll say we'll certainly miss him. And I guess with that, I'll say if you've got friends that are hams and they well, just regardless of their health or whatever, always tell them that you care for them and you enjoy their company and compliment folks. Just be respectful, and who knows, you may be missing them someday. So wish I'd have said more to Mick than I have in the past, but I guess it is what it is. So we'll certainly miss him, Sharon. Back to you, and be sure and tell Steve I said hello. N4IJL.
Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate it, and thanks for the comments on Mick. All right, Perry out there in Oak Ridge, any comments for the MCARES net, KK4LZF?
Yeah, good evening, Sharon. And yeah, I just had to check in and listen to some of the eulogies for Mick. He was a friend of mine too. I fondly remember a number of interesting early evening QSOs with Mick. And I hate to say this, it's almost like deja vu. The last time I checked into your net, I think we were doing the same thing with W4ZXQ Don, but both of them will be missed. And with that said, I think I'll send it back to net. KK4LZF. Back to you, Sharon.
Okay, Perry, it just dawned on me who you are. Thanks, Perry. Appreciate you being there. Yeah, that was the last final call that we did. All right, appreciate you, Perry. Thanks for being in here. Any additional check-ins before we close the net?
November 4, Juliet Tango, Quebec.
KQ4NDO, Kilo Quebec 4, November Delta Oscar.
Okay, I have N4JTQ and KQ4NDO. So N4JTQ, come back with your name and location and any comments for the net.
N4JTQ, good evening, Sharon, and hope you're doing all right. I hate to hear that your better half's having those headaches. I hope those will go away soon. You don't need them. But prayers out to him as well. I just wanted to check in. I've been kind of listening off and on. Of course, I knew Mick well. Mick was a good friend. He was a super ham. He would give you the shirt off his back. He brought a lot of people into amateur radio. And like Jerry said, I loved his wit. Some of it was a little bit sarcasm, which I have as well, so we did get along well. And God, I'm going to miss him. He was also a member of the Superior County Amateur Radio Society, and was always at the Ham Fest, always supporting. So we've lost a great person right there. Sharon, I'm not going to hold it up. I know you're probably wanting to close. Thank you for bringing me aboard, and tell Steve prayers out to him, and you all have a good evening. N4JTQ, back to that.
Okay, Rick, and I didn't recognize the call. Sorry about that. Thanks for your comments as well, and thanks for checking into the net. Okay, KQ4, NDO, go ahead.
Good evening, Sharon. This is Gary in South Knox County, KQ4NDO. I started listening to ham radio about 3 years ago, and I remember Mick's voice, and I thought this has to be a very interesting person. I did like his humor. So, in effect, I only knew him on the radio, but I did enjoy hearing him. And that'll be a voice that I will miss.
Amen to that. He, like I say, he is leaving a great big hole. So our great big radio leaving a great big hole. All right, this is W4WIF with the Monroe County Amateur Radio Emergency Services Net. Anybody else checking into the net, please call in.
KQ4OGY, Oscar Delta Yankee.
We'll go ahead and do you have any comments for the net tonight, whether or not it's about Mick or just about any topic, but obviously any comments about Mick are still welcome. And give us your name, please.
My name's Mick, and no comments necessarily, just it was unfortunate, and I'm glad to see the community coming together and supporting the family and everyone. So yeah, back to the net.
Okay, got you, Nick, up there in Knoxville. Appreciate you checking into the net tonight. All right, anybody else for to get on the roster for the MCARES net, please call now.
Comment.
6, okay, you go ahead, Mick. Got him on the mind. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Sharon. Let me just say this. Leave it to Mick to be late and break a check-in record. For MCARES this evening, we have a total of 31. Our record was 27. So, Mick, we appreciate you. You're still breaking records, my friend. 7-3. KK6OKU back to net control.
Roger that. Okay, well, so far it's 33. Or actually 32. I've got a blank space that's not counted. And I think that's because John hasn't... oh, there he is. Okay, hadn't put his call down in there yet. So, all right, I think we're together. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. We appreciate everybody checking in tonight. Appreciate your participation. I'd like to thank... well, I'll call one last time for check-ins since we're having them keep sliding in here. Any last check-ins for the MCARES net, please call. Well, thanks everybody for being here tonight. We'd like to thank Steve, W4YJ, and Eric, KK4DKW, for the use of the 145.25 and 145.27 repeaters for Monroe County, to serve Monroe County areas group, and we appreciate that. And we thank KE0GBR for making that repeater available as a backup repeater. This is W4WIF, and I will be securing the MCARES net now and it is a record for how long we've gone to. It is 9:20, so securing the net, turning the frequency back to regular amateur use. And John, I'll make my count and I'll get back with you in a second. W4WIF, standing by.
KB4TV, KK6OKU.
KK6OKU, KB4TV. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. In the remarks column for the check-ins, will you throw KQ4HOM in for a WinLink check-in and KQ4BJU for a WinLink check-in? KQ4HOM, Mike, and KQ4BJU, Lee, they both checked in via WinLink also.
All right, KQ4HOM and BJU, correct?
QSL, thank you so much. Sure appreciate you all this evening.
Roger that. Did you capture the log, or do I need to mess it up as usual?
I'm gonna go ahead and save it in my files right now. So with that in mind, let me type in Mick's check-in log, and with that, I'm good. You can go ahead and close it out then. If you and Sharon have go ahead and coordinated that, we do have a full count of 31.
Roger that. Appreciate it, Mike. Good job this evening. And I wish I could have put in some more words for Mick, but only met him twice, and I was still learning him. So, but Godspeed to him, that's for sure. He's definitely an interesting gentleman. 73s, I'm standing by for net control.
Thanks, John. KK6OKU.
Okay, I've got 32. John, I don't see the last check-in, KQ4ODY. That's Nick up in Knoxville.
Yeah, roger that, Sharon. I thought I was missing one in there because somebody was texting me telling me I needed to log in. So, par for the course on my part. Okay, I've got him in there now, so appreciate you doing the net this evening, Sharon, and always fun. Tonight was a little sorrowful, but I guess we need to celebrate the gentleman because he is the man. And, you know, you guys have a good evening in 73s, and I appreciate everything you do. KB4TV, I'm clear.
Okay, John. Yeah, I've not seen it show up on my screen yet, but that will make 32 for the net. Yeah, big record, but well deserved for Mick. We're gonna miss him. Yeah, like I say, that's a big hole. You know, he was a short man of stature, but he's left a big hole. All right, John. Thank you. Good job tonight. W4 WIF, and I'll be clear.
KF4AHW with a comment. We got out of here. KF4AHW, y'all copy?
KF4AHW, go ahead.
Well, I had to use antique technology, but I taped the whole thing on cassette, except for a couple of seconds where I had to flip it over, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I've got it if you need it. KF4AHW.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'll let Mike know, and he can get with you. KQ6, okay, Mike, are you still in there?
Yes, ma'am. I surely am, and I heard that, and I do appreciate that. If there's a way that you can convert that to digital from the analog, I would most certainly like a copy. And if you like, I do appreciate you taking the time to do so. It looks like we're going to have about 3, maybe 4 different types of recordings of the net this evening. I know the family will love it, and I just cannot tell you how much I do appreciate it. Go ahead and send it to EC, it's Echo Charlie, at MCARES.net. EC at MCARES.net. If you can convert that over to analog. If not, and you don't mind, if you can copy it to another tape and then send me the original, my address on QRZ is good. I should appreciate it. Thank you so much. KK6OKU.
Sure, anytime. Sure gonna miss that guy. I sure am. He used to pick on me all the time. KF4AHW. I'll see you guys.
Thanks, Tom, and appreciate you doing that. That was very thoughtful. W4WIF there.
He's late in setting records. That's Mick. Appreciate you stopping by and taking care of that for us. And Sharon, thank you so much for NCS this evening. I do appreciate it. And great job, by the way. KK6, okay, we're going to be clear. 73L.
and thanks, John. Good night, all. W4 WIF clear.
KE0GBR and 4JTQ. Copy, Tom?
Just trying to mark this tape so I don't lose it.
That I know you. I appreciate you taping it, and I had a request from Bud and Irma especially, because you know how close her and Irma, or him, Mick and Irma was. Can you make me a copy? I'll pay you for it, or and if you do it on digital, that's fine. However you wish to do it. I'd like to give that to Irma.
I may have a copy one here. If not, I'll do it real time. I missed a little bit of that one guy's comment because I had to flip the tape, so, oh well. That's why that's an antique technology. Anyway, I just don't even know how to do it digital, to be honest with you. KF4AHW.
Comment.
Comment.
Thank you. KK6OKU. I just want to let you guys know, I had, there was, I think, 3 of us recording this evening, and we'll probably take the best of all of them and make it available on the MCARES website on Mick's page. I'll get with Jeff, and we'll make that happen. And it'll be downloadable, so we'll be able to share it all. Sure appreciate y'all being out there this evening. You'll have a good evening. 7-3 KK6OKU will be clear.
Okay, I won't do it tonight. I've got to go to work tomorrow. Golly. I don't even want to go. I'm having to force myself. I got to climb back in that garbage pit of an apartment and try to get something done. It's so disgusting. KF4AHW.
Thank y'all. I'm going to go ahead and clear. Everyone have a great night. And thank you for doing this tonight. From the bottom of my heart. Like I said, Mick was a good friend. 7-3 all and 4 JTQ.
Yeah, same to you, bud. I'll talk to you later. KF4AHW. I got to get out of here. See ya.
7-3, fellas. It was an honor and a pleasure to do so. And he will be missed. KK6OKU will be clear.